Hello again from over here at Holy Smoke Cigars. I'm Dennis Massengale, and our guest today is Stephanie Birmingham. Stephanie and I go back about 30 years.
About that?
Maybe even a little longer. And we've gone through a lot together. We have been very close friends. In fact, I think there's one story I've got to tell very quickly. I was going through a divorce from my second wife, and Stephanie had just gone through one or was going through one, and I told her that I had to go to Atlanta, be down there for a couple of days, and I was looking forward to it. It was a business trip, but I only had like an hour's worth of business, and I just wanted to get out of town. I needed to clear my head. And Stephanie said, boy, that sounds so good. I would love to just get out of town. And I said, well, why don't you go with me? And she said, seriously? And I said, yeah, why don't you go? I said, we'll be in Atlanta. It's not like we're going to see anyone we meet. And so she decided to go. She packed a bag. We took off. We went to Atlanta. We found a hotel, got a room. I don't even think we asked if it had 2 double beds or a king or whatever. I don't think we even asked. We just got the room. And we went to an Italian restaurant.
We did.
We went out and had a bottle of wine, and we ate dinner, and then we went back to the hotel. And we walk into the hotel room, and it's got a king-size bed, and that was all. Well, I wasn't going to sleep on the couch, and she wasn't either. So we said, okay, look, we're friends here. There's plenty of room in this bed. So I get in one side. I think I put a pillow in the middle and told her not to come to my side. And you've got to tell the story about losing the TV remote.
I lost the TV. And the funny thing is, the people who know us, you and I were both known in different ways, but in a lot of the same circles here. And yeah, we could go hang out and have lunch, and did many times, but it just, the way we always tell it is we had to go out of town to not have an affair. Yeah. Because anybody who knew us knew we were brother, sister, buds, and that, believe it or not, it's fact, But so we went out of town, went to the restaurant, and the waiter, we were laughing and we're eating and we're drinking, laughing, having a good time. And he said, how long have y'all been married? And then we laughed harder. And we like each other way too much. We're not married. We're okay. Get to the hotel. There's only one bed. And here's the other part of that. You had the hotel already. Yep. And I was going to go down that. To preface the story, Dennis can't go anywhere without people knowing him. Somebody's going to know Dennis. He could go to, Portland and oh my God, Dennis Massengale. So it gets a little annoying, but and it did, because we went to the hotel, and it's not even awkward because we're buds, but there was one bed. What the heck? Yep. Here we go. So in the middle of the night, I woke up, Dennis sound asleep, and I couldn't find the remote, and I was going to try to sneak the TV on, and I'm looking, I can't find it, and I thought, I can't, I saw it. I said, I can't.
Where was it, Stephanie?
Exactly. What was hidden? And I just knew I couldn't get it, because I knew that you were going to wake up. And I knew you wanted me after all these years. And no, I didn't. I just watched TV. Anyway, the ending of the story is we got up the next morning, went down, had breakfast, whatever it was. I was carrying my backpack and Dennis's guitar and thinking, this is so nice to be in a place where nobody knows us. And we just hung out. We had a good time. We ate, we drank. And I hear Dennis Massengale. Turned around, and a guy's going, hey. I didn't even make eye contact with him or Dennis. Walked out the door. Dennis's guitar, which I guess the guy didn't even notice, and went out to the car and left. And that I didn't tell that story earlier, but yeah, his wife knows the whole story. Thinks it's great, and it. That's just one stuff you happen into.
Yeah. We've had several.
Yeah.
But that was it was a great time. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
Oh well, okay. Do you have any questions about cigars, since you don't know much about them?
I hope you could school me a little bit, and remember, when I'm talking about alcohol to people who don't know anything about it, and I don't know everything myself, but you really do have to not use too much lingo, jargon. You have to talk to them. So talk to me like that.
Okay.
We're talking about pairing a cigar with a bourbon or a cigar with a vodka or a rum. Brand names aren't going to do a lot for me now.
Right.
I mean, feel free to throw them in because you own this store and you can do whatever you want. But give me an idea of what you're looking for in a cigar, in a flavor, because you're talking to a novice.
Well,
I have no idea.
And it's funny because we have people who come in and they haven't been smoking cigars long. I literally had a guy that came in 2 weeks ago and looked at the shop. He said, "I want to look and see what you've got in cigars." And I asked him what he usually smokes, and he goes, "I don't smoke." He said, "I'll be 21 next week." And he said, after I turn 21, I want to smoke a cigar. So sure enough, he came back in this week, and very nice kid. I took him back there. He said, "I turned 21 yesterday," and he said, "I want to smoke a cigar." And here's what I told him, and it's what I tell a lot of people. And people come in here and assume that because I'm an owner at a cigar shop that I know everything. I've got customers that know so much more about tobacco than I will ever know. I ask them for advice. And so I've picked up some of it by osmosis from being in this business for 4 years. But I told him, I said, "Okay, since you're a novice smoker, you're probably going to want to start with something mild. If you start with something heavy and dark and thick, it's going to take your head off." So we started him out with a Connecticut, and the Connecticut leaf is lighter. But we don't get into a lot of specifics. I hear experts and the so-called connoisseurs talking about they will pick up a cigar and take a pull on it and say, "I'm tasting notes of currant and there's a little bit of vanilla and let's see, I think there's some mosquito juice in there." And I'm going, "What the crap are you talking about? It's a dang cigar." And I know that there are people who get those notes that my palate is not that refined and I won't get it. But what I do know about cigars is that typically darker is stronger, and that's not always the case, but most of the time. And I love a Maduro cigar, a Maduro wrapper, and it's dark like this one. One of my favorite cigars to smoke is a Camacho Triple Maduro because all three of the tobaccos in that cigar are Maduro. And so it's rich and it's heavy. And that's what I prefer. But a lot of guys, even that have been smoking cigars for 30, 40 years, they don't care for the heavy stuff. They still want something that's medium. So I don't get into a whole lot of what kind of notes you're going to find. And cigar smoking is very subjective to everyone. So if you're smoking a cigar and you've been smoking for 5 years, you're liable to find something tomorrow that you've never smoked before and go, "Wow, that's my new favorite cigar." And what I try to discourage is I don't want people to get stuck on one cigar all the time. Well, that's my go-to. I get it. But if smoke your go-to on a regular basis, but occasionally get out of the box and try something a little bit different, because you will find, just like you do in liquors, that you can drink one thing for years and try something else and go, "Wow, I really like that," because it's got something in it that I wasn't getting out of the other taste. So, I mean, do you see the same thing when you're talking to people about liquors?
Yes, and I wanted to ask you a question about cigars, but yes, when the young guys come in and you can, I hate to use the word profile, let's say demographic.
Yeah.
You can see them, you can see how they look, how they're dressed, you know exactly what they're doing, and they want to get into the bourbon thing, only they don't know anything, and they'll normally tell you, so they'll say, "I want your best stuff, I want an allocated." You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to start there. You'll that's bad mistake.
Yeah.
Learn to drink the different kinds of Jack Daniels, get to the Woodford, the Elijah Craig, that, do these things and experience all the different kinds and then go there. I'm assuming that's kind of what you were talking about when you start out.
Exactly
light.
The same.
You don't want to shock their system with a 122 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with the cigar.